What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another 2JZ garage video. So today we have a 2014 Nissan Juke and it's giving some overheating problems. I'm assuming that the thermostat is bad, but this thing has two thermostats, one down here and another one down there. But the one down there you have to take off the whole front bumper to get to. So what I'm going to try to do to diagnose it is just change the one up top first. And if that's the issue, then we won't deal with the bottom. And then we got to change the spark plugs, and we also have the brake pads in the front to change, and also the air filter. So as you can see, we got the brake pads, the air filter, the thermostats, spark plugs, and then the silicone. So the first thing we got to do is take off this cover. Pops right off, and then you get access to all of these. We're going to get on the thermostat up here first. So it looks like we're going to have to take off these hoses and lines and everything to get to the thermostat. You can see I finally got the assembly out. I got the new thermostat in already. That was pretty tough to take out, to be honest. It was about 7 bolts. Got 2, 4, 6, 7 bolts, and it finally got out. So I'm getting ready to put that back on, put everything back together, and start it up and see if it overheats still. But I had to take off the intake piping and all these hoses and lines and wires. I had to move them all out of the way to get access to down there. Before I put this side back on, I decided I'm gonna go ahead and do the spark plugs right now, since I had this piping off already and it gave me easier access to them. So I had to take off the tubing going to the turbo. As you can see, this one here, just move it to the side, and then you get access to all 4 cylinders, all 4 coil packs, and the spark plugs are right in there. So we're gonna go ahead and change the spark plugs. The first coil pack. Okay, so I did end up having to go and get some extensions and a magnet because the spark plug socket for this thing, they didn't have it. All I have is the 5/8 and the bigger one. They don't have this side, which is 14mm, so I'm gonna try to use my regular 14mm socket and a magnet. I'll just use the magnet to bring it out, and hopefully it works. Hopefully the socket fits in the hole, because it is pretty small. So let's go ahead and take out that first spark plug and see what we got. I got the first spark plug out. Forgot to press record. But one thing I am gonna do, as you guys should know, I always do this, make sure the gap is at 30. So as you can see, gap is at 30, so we should be good with this spark plug. So it's good to go in. Let's put the first spark plug back in and move on to the next one. Bring the spark plug right out. You can see this one looks burnt as well. Looks a little worn down. So let's get the new one, make sure the gap is at 30, and repeat the process for the last 2. So here's the gapping tool. As you can see, got it to 30. That's exactly where you want it. After you get them all in, tighten down all the coil packs. Plug all the wires back on. Make sure you hear that click, that way you know they're all the way in for sure. Hear that click. That one's clicked. That one's clicked. This one is, alright, there you go. So, spark plugs are changed. Now let's put all this stuff back on and together. So as you can see, got the water topped off, it's not going down, no air bubbles, so that means we have no leaks. There was a few leaks when I first put the water in. I resolved all those leaks. Now I got the battery in. I'm gonna go ahead and crank the car, double check everything. Everything seems like it's all right and ready to crank. Okay, so I didn't show you guys none of it, but I was driving the car and it was still heating up. So I was like, you know what? So I decided taking the tires off so I can start getting the bumper off. And I noticed that the pulleys didn't have a belt. And I was like, what the heck? Where's the belt at? And the belt was just there hanging and it's all ripped up. So I am 99.9%, this is the problem right here. The belt was not even on, it's all ripped up. So because that belt was not on, the alternator wasn't running, the water pump wasn't running, nothing was running. So that's why the battery died, and that's why the battery light on the dash is on. So they're gonna go get that belt. Meanwhile they go get the belt, I'm gonna start on the calipers so we can get this front brakes swapped out. So to take off the caliper, to get to the brake pads, you gotta take off this bolt up here. Looks like it's gonna be about a 14 millimeter. So after you take off the top and the bottom bolt, the caliper comes off completely, and then you can take out the pads. So here we got Duralast Gold ceramic pads. We're gonna be using those in this thing today. And all brake pads should come with a set of new clips and stuff. I'm gonna be using those, and then here's the pads. And it should come with some lube right here that you're gonna want to put inside of those sleeves to lube it up. Inside of here, these sleeves in here. So that is how you should look with the new clips on. You got this thing on the top that locks in the brake pad, and now you're ready for the pads. So this is how it should look after you put the pads on. Make sure you have those little slots inside of these that are on the pads. That it's like a spring, I guess you could say. So now we're ready to put the caliper back on. So make sure you lube these up first. Get the lube inside of these sleeves and then put those bolts on. After all is said and done, this is how it should look. Brand new pads, calipers in, it's got the fresh lube. Now repeat the same thing on the other side. One thing I did forget to show you guys on the other side is this is the mechanism I use to push the caliper, the piston back in. Just get one of the old pads and then get a C-clamp, tighten it down, and you can see it closes. After it closes, you can take it right off, and it's all the way closed, and it's gonna make it so much easier to slide the caliper back on. One on the top. There you go. Tighten it down, and then do the one on the bottom. Getting ready to put the belt on. Had to look up a diagram. As you can see, that's the way it goes. Okay, so it wasn't too bad. You just gotta follow the diagram. Make sure you put the belts. Make sure you put the belt in all the right direction on all the correct pulleys, the way that they come, and you should have it in there. You can see there's a 14 millimeter nut that you can grab, and that's your tensioner. And basically, you just apply that, and it gives it tension, and then you can put the belt on. So now I'm gonna start the car, let it run for a bit. Make sure the belt's in the correct position. Just let it run, and then let the water flow. See if the temperature goes up, and if it doesn't, then that's our problem right there. Okay, so I did let the car run and idle for a few minutes, and the battery light went off. All the lights on the dash went off. It's moving great. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the wheel well back on, and put this wheel back on, drop it back to the floor, and then we gotta change the air filter. Okay, I got the wheel well on, took the car off the jack stands. So here's the air box. Gotta probably take the battery back out so I can open this box easier. Okay, so here's the air filter. Took the battery out. You're gonna have to. You can see all the room it gave me. So you have these two slots. You just pull this up, and then this comes all the way out. You can set that aside, and you can see the filter right there. To be honest, it looks clean. It doesn't look that dirty. So I honestly don't know if I'm gonna change it. It's not put in correctly. Whoever changed it last time, the bottom of the box is open. But I will take it out and just take a look at it real quick. Okay, so I took out the filter and I went ahead and just put it back in because it was clean. Looked like it was changed recently. So I didn't even bother changing it. I just cleaned the inside of the box because it had a little bit of dirt and dust and stuff. I put the battery bracket on, put the terminals on, so everything is good, hooked up. I'm gonna take it for a drive, check and see if it overheats anymore, and if it doesn't, then our issue is solved. So I'm not sure where this video left off, but to catch you guys up real quick, I did take the car for a test run, and it did overheat because I got to the store and the belt fell off again. So it turns out the alternator pulley was all bent, and it was moving around and making the belt slip off. So we had to take off the whole front bumper to get the alternator out. So now we got to put it back in and put the belt tensioner back on. Put the belt on and put everything back together. It wasn't too bad taking off the bumper. There was a few screws out here. You had to pop this side like over fender off, and then all these up here were clips. You just had to pull them off, and the same thing on the other side. I didn't have to take the wheel off. I just turned take off all these push pins, and then this pops right off, bumper comes right out. All right, so I got the alternator in, and I also got the brand new pulley in.
We got Gio working on the Juke. He's been working on it for a week, so don't hire this. Don't know what the he doing. He put the left wheel on the right rim. He put a radiator as my alternator, and then he put cooling in my gas pump.
Bitch, what?
All right, hold up. You ready? Remember the clips? All right, so we got the front bumper on, went for a test run. It had this little hesitation stuff, so then I unplugged all of the coil pack plugs and plugged them back in, and hesitation went away. It's not overheating anymore, battery lights off, and it's got AC back, ice cold AC. Something they told me that the AC was not working, but all is good, so this car is done. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give the video a big thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.